Welcome back. The next section is constant difference. What is constant difference? Constant difference means it's a difference that one can see between two consecutive values. So the difference between two consecutive values does not change. It varies with the same number. So when you subtract one value from another, you get exactly the same value. And the next one is that it does not start at the origin. It does not start at the point where, on the graph where you have 0 and 0. This is the point which we call the origin on the graph. It does not start here. It starts somewhere on this y-axis or on the vertical axis. So take note that once it does not start at the origin, then we know that that is the graph for the constant difference. And the graph is not in direct proportion, mainly because it does not start at 0 and 0. So to determine the unknown value, you get the difference between two consecutive values. I think I already mentioned this. And then the general formula to calculate the constant difference or the constant difference relationship is that you will take the fixed cost. The reason why it starts somewhere on the vertical axis is because there's what is called the fixed cost. And the fixed cost can be the amount for the electricity, amount for rental, etc. Because when somebody is running a business, they're not just running a business only. They also paying for other things like electricity, like the rental. So you take that fixed cost, you add it to the number of items, multiply by the constant difference. And take note that the constant difference is the difference that you will get between two consecutive values. And remember, the word difference means you need to subtract. Okay, Sheila is selling muffins, and the cost of preparing muffins plus the cost of electricity for 6 muffins is represented in the table below. So what we see here, it is the cost of preparing the muffins plus the cost of electricity. This is what we see here. So remember, I spoke about the fixed cost, the one that one will have to pay besides the cost that they will incur for preparing the muffins. So the fixed cost in this case, it is the electricity cost. So now it is indicated that it is represented on the table. But it is not clear which value is that. We need to calculate it. I will take you through the journey of calculating it so that you are able to see it in every table that is presented to you. The first question, determine the actual cost for preparing 1 muffin excluding the electricity cost. So now, for you to know what is the cost of preparing 1 muffin, you need to get the difference between two consecutive values in the table. So looking at those values, these are the two consecutive values on the table. So you have 60 rand. We get the difference between these two. We say 60 rand minus 55 rand. The difference is 5 rand. So 5 rand is your constant difference. So if 5 rand is a constant difference, it tells you that 1 muffin is therefore 5 rand. That is the cost for preparing 1 muffin, 5 rand. Okay, let us move to the next question. So now the next question, Sheila is selling muffins, and the cost of preparing muffins plus the cost of electricity for 6 muffins is represented once more in this table. What is the cost of electricity to prepare 8 muffins. Now we want to know the cost of electricity. Take note that in the previous calculation, we calculated the cost of 1 muffin and we found that it is 5 rand. Now we need the cost of electricity. Now to find the cost of electricity, we are going to take 55 rand, subtract, which is the initial value that we see, which is written under 1 muffin, and we subtract the cost of 1 muffin. And then the cost of 1 muffin is 5 rand as calculated previously. So 55 rand minus 5 rand is therefore 50 rand. That is the cost of electricity. Let us move to the next question. Determine the values of A and B. Therefore, the value of A, we say, remember, A is for preparing 3 muffins. So we are having the fixed cost, which is the 50 rand for electricity, which has been paid, plus 5 rand multiplied by 3 muffins, because each muffin is 5 rand. Then I want to say, always simplify the values in the brackets first. 5 rand times 3 will give you 15 rand. Then 15 rand plus 50 rand is 65 rand. So that is the value for A. So your A is 65 rand. And I hope you can also see the logic in the pattern. So now let us determine the value of B. The value of B, therefore, is going to be, we take this cost which is given under B, which is 75 rand. We subtract 50 rand and you will get 25 rand. And because we need the value of B, we need to know the number of muffins. We therefore take 25 rand and divide by 5 rand and you get 5. Alternatively, because there's logic in this two, it's 70 and 75 rand. You can as well say, because only 5 rand was added, therefore we can say 1 muffin was added, therefore this is going to be 5. This can also be done, but you must be able to do your calculations. Now let us continue with the next question. Determine the formula to calculate the cost of muffins. The formula to calculate the cost of muffins is therefore going to be, we said when we calculate when we write the formula for muffin, we will say cost equal to, we first take the fixed cost plus we write the number of muffins, and then we multiply this by cost of 1 muffin. So now we are going to have the fixed cost we said is the cost for electricity. And we've already calculated that the cost of electricity is 50 rand. And then we multiply this by number, we add it to number of muffins. And then we multiply this by the cost for 1 muffin. We said 1 muffin is 5 rand. So this is your formula to calculate the number of muffins. So when we calculate, when we write the formula, actually, you don't have to substitute the number of muffins, so that whatever value of muffins is given, you can substitute here. If it's 7 muffins, you can simply substitute 7 muffins, multiply by 5 rand, add it to the fixed cost. Even if we can say 20 muffins, I hope you will be able to calculate it. I think you will be able to practice this section because we've done it and you've seen how we've calculated. So up to now, I think I can call it a day. I will see you next time.